Hello. Let me let people know I'm going live. So, last time I think it was Tuesday. It was kind of a waste of time stream. I had some problems with how the sprite batch was working, the buffers and etc. And it was kind of a learning experience on a meta level, in that I realized it made no sense to like rush trying to debug stuff just because I'm on stream, because it's just gonna be a lot worse and I'm not gonna understand anything. And as usual, and actually this is one good reason why it's so useful to stream or to record yourself. Not that this is something everyone should do, but I found it's useful for me because I could look at my process and find stuff that I could improve. And one of them is how to debug this kind of stuff. But anyway, after the stream, I went over my stuff and I also was able to look a bit at the recording, and quickly I realized it was something that I did a little bit of experimentation offline, but not too much. Mostly because I didn't have the time, but I thought it would also be nice to show what was the issue and how I could fix it on stream. So if I go here to the bottle code for the GPU stuff, the buffer stuff. So C, GPU, and let me make the text a little bit bigger. Okay, so there's this write function, and my mistake last time was that the whole time I was assuming I was writing the size of the source array, and I actually have already modified this, but the way it was reading before is that it would write self.size, and if I write this back and I try to do this here, I have the 2048 loop again, and I can show you. If I do this, it will probably crash again. Let's see. It's a bit finicky. Let's try with it was like 60, I guess, a random number. It's the annoying thing about this kind of crash. Yeah, it crashed. The annoying thing about this kind of crash is that's totally unpredictable. Like sometimes the segfault will crash your program, sometimes it does nothing. But if you try different parameters, eventually it will crash. So okay, now we see that it does crash, and I can show you that the reason for this is that I'm always trying to write the size of the whole buffer, and this is a GPU backed buffer. But the memory I'm trying to write from, the source data, is smaller than the GPU backed buffer. So for example, here I have a buffer the size of 1024 elements, and my array is like 60 elements. So or even, yeah, so like it's gonna overrun by a lot. So here what I did do was change it to data size, which is in general more reasonable. So like you don't have to know the size of the, although it will check if it fits, and that's pretty good, but also it will want to write the entirety of the source array, which seems safer and generally more aligned with what you would want to do. So that's the more general case. Now if you do provide, let's see, same thing, self data, same thing. I should probably copy this, okay. And next thing is gonna be an offset. which is, it should be usize, yeah. This is a, yeah, it's like size t in C. So this, no, actually, the way it should work is to have the least specialized function variant last or first even, and then if it doesn't have stuff, it will fall down to the less specialized forms. Okay, so this one should take offset, should take count. I think that should be it, yeah. And MX for some reason is a bit laggy when I'm streaming, because computers in 2022 can do two things at the same time. Okay, so actually let me make this a little bit wider for now. And let me open chat as well. I don't have chat open right now, just in case someone says something. Okay, so here we have the least specialized version of the function, and it just does everything. And actually, it kind of mirrors the way the original QWriteBuffer function works. And that's maybe a little bit of pride and why I didn't do this in the first place, because I kind of feel weird about just like wrapping a function and doing exactly the same thing, just forwarding, but I guess it's fine. It's a pretty good function, and there's no need to abstract too much of it. So here we have, I believe this is the offset, so we just pass it, although we should do some checking as well, that, yeah. I think this one should be offset plus data size has to be less than the size of the buffer in GPU backed memory. Yeah, this makes sense. So we have the offset and data size. And data size is gonna be the, yeah, instead of count of data, it's gonna be count, right? So, okay, now we have offset. And I feel like we might want to have, I'm not sure if I guess if you have a count, you probably want an offset as well. Let's do it this way. Yeah, just offset. So, okay. This will do this function. So it's just a forwarding, right? A forwarding case. This function taking self, data, offset, and then count is gonna be count of data. So just like kind of making default parameters. And here same thing, but yeah. But it just takes 0 as offset and count of data. That should be okay. And maybe later, if I feel like I need more variants, I can change this, but also it kind of doesn't matter. Like, do you really want to avoid writing stuff so much? But it's okay. I like being able to write stuff concisely. So this is kind of like the more general case where you just want to write the whole array, and that's probably good to have. And this one may be kind of useless. Okay, so this should fix our crash now, and I should be able to run it like 5 times and not crash. Though also I have tested before with this fix, yeah. And it's like animated as well. I should scale this sometime, but yeah. Back to zooming, yeah. I also added an animation, so it takes the slice from the texture and cycles through it. And now I have to find this, yeah. So that's cool. Now the second thing was that there were 2 bugs, right? And one of the reasons it was so difficult to debug this last time, besides refusing to use proper tools, was that when you have 2 bugs and one of them crashes your program, it's very difficult to like know if the second bug is unrelated or if you're just like hitting an undefined state, right? So as it turns out, I did some debugging on RenderDoc as well, and a bit more carefully, and using my brain a bit more. And I realized the issue was that the reason it was zeroed when you it was specifically when you let the backing buffer resize, right? And the way resizing works is that it creates a larger buffer and then replaces the old one. And while reading the RenderDoc capture, what I noticed was that upon replacing the first buffer, it was still trying to draw from the first buffer, right? And because we filled the buffer in the first frame, it was never filled in the first place, right? It immediately resized and we had an empty buffer. So why is that? The reason that happens is very simple, actually. I forgot to actually do a thing you need to do in WebGPU, and that is to swap the binding groups from the pipeline, right? You create these objects that have your bindings, and they have bindings for separate buffers, shaders, textures, this kind of thing. Or not shaders, actually, just uniform buffers, storage buffers, textures, samplers. And I simply didn't switch them. And I need to implement that. So in update buffers, that's where you have to go. And we need to also do the swap the binding groups. And they are created here, and they're this function, update buffers. It takes a vbuffer and a texture. Yeah, it doesn't take the vertex buffer at all, because the index or even the index buffer is bound at draw time. So here in update buffers, we need to get it gives back one bind group, right? Bind group 0. And actually, I should show what happens. 2048 was the number. What? That's too much. The number we were using before. And yeah, it actually is showing something, I guess, because it actually loads in one frame. So yeah, we have one thing, but we'll see when I fix it. There will be a lot more instead of just one. So update buffers. We have that big group 0 equals make bind group, I believe is the name. It takes a vbuffer in texture. Okay. Vertex buffer takes self.texture, I think is the name. Yeah. Yeah. Takes this self.bgroup0. Let's just do it here. And now when it draws, if self-dirty, update buffers, and then it sets the bind groups as we would expect. Now when I run, there's a lot more stuff, although it's kind of hard to see for some reason. Yeah, it's because of the, I didn't change the, I'm adding like 1 pixel so you see the border every time. Let me, yeah. Oh god. It's always an adventure with this thing. So yeah, this should fix the 2 bugs we had last time, and now we can actually do cool stuff. And to be honest, let me try to remember what, I think I have notes here, what I was supposed to do next. It's like, yeah. Kind of wanted to start working on something to draw lines and circles and stuff like that. it may be possible to start that today. I don't know if I want to stream for too long today already, but like just fixing this stuff, I don't know if that's enough for a whole stream. So let's see. I want to, let's do like 36 times I, and it should be easy to see. So here's all the piggies and the frames. Okay, it works. All right, so one thing I wanted to do here in this render module was to separate maybe this low level part from the actual sprite patch implementation, because it can be kind of generic, and I'm gonna do a separate thing that's pretty similar to sprite batch, but it's not specialized to quads. So it will benefit from having something more generic. So let's do something. Yeah, I think like this. Streaming mesh from struct, and then it's gonna be generic. So the way it will work is that you can, is this the way I want to do it? I think so. Yeah. Yeah, this way. And then it's generic, so it makes a struct type called streaming mesh. Vertex to string. And I'm gonna show you how this looks once I create the type. Yeah, my string highlighting is not working correctly right now. I wrote the Emacs highlighting for scopes myself, and recently I fixed a bug for string highlighting that would like lock Emacs because of greedy regex, and I fixed that, but in the process I broke highlighting itself, and that's kind of a pain, and I don't have the energy to go back and fix it. It will have to be done eventually. I need to have this stuff. I feel like everything needs a texture, because if you're gonna draw arbitrary geometry, you still want, or do you? Maybe not, because it's gonna be separate draw calls anyway. Yeah. Yep, you don't know what I'm thinking. The thing is, sometimes when you're doing like line rendering, or I don't know, primitives in general, you want to also have a texture bound, so you can use the same shader for arbitrary geometry and quads sprites, and I'm not sure I care about that, having the same shader, because I might do something special in the shader for lines or what have you. So for now, let's not use the exact same thing here. Just let's leave texture for sprite patch. So here I need this. And like, it's possible that I don't even need to keep these. I could keep just a count and not care about about keeping the data itself on CPU at all, but that might be a memory optimization I do later, and not right now. Yeah. Huh. Yeah, okay. It takes a bind group. What's in this bind group again? It takes a buffer and a sampler and a texture view. And I'll probably use the dummy ones here. Yeah, same thing. Same thing. Yeah. Anything else? Yeah, I think it's dirty as well. We'll figure it out. Okay, so let me create a type like that. It would look like this. Let sprite batch and eventually I'm gonna replace this by one of these, but for now I'm just testing. Streaming mesh taking vertex and 9 indices of U60. If I print that, sprite batch star, it says, oh, something, what am I doing wrong? Opaque type struct. That's a pretty, I guess this should come here. Maybe this. Yeah, okay. So it creates this streaming mesh vertex U60. That's exactly what I wanted. So that's what our type looks like. Now I would want to do this here. Let's sprite batch as, although yeah, I think we want to do it this way. Struct sprite batch, and then instead of this, it has a mesh member, that is of type streaming mesh vertex U60. Yeah. And then on a lot of these, I will replace it. Do I need to do this? Yeah, I guess so. Let's keep this here as well to be easier to use. And it takes vertex buffer, index buffer, regex data, index data, big group 0 data. Buffer. Yeah, I think I can copy a lot of this from here. Now I need to, yeah, I should really put this stuff back in its own function. Okay, I can do that later. Self.mesh. I should probably like do a search and replace on that, or at least a search. Mesh. Ah. Just doing some cleanup here. And the reason I'm doing this is because I want a separate time of batch, of mesh batching. And I'm gonna reuse most of that code. Now this one, I think it can probably go in the stream mesh type itself instead of, yeah, this one goes up here. And now I have this here, but it just forwards. Yeah. If I did everything correctly, which I'm just gonna double check real quick. Also, I'm gonna check if anyone said something. Maybe everything's broken, no one can hear me. Though it doesn't seem like anyone's watching right now. Double checking. This is correct. Let me just try it. It should do exactly the same. Okay. 38. $116. Huh. What? Oh, it's taking the right. Yeah, this is annoying. Okay, it's trying to use this function as the constructor. I need to give it the constructor. I forget, things get a bit weird with generic structs. Type call struct type call. Okay, so it should work correctly now. Okay. No, this is something. It's an actual mistake, yeah. Huh. Oh, this should probably go inside a mesh as well. Update buffers, right? It does have the max sprites thing, so I should probably, huh. How would I know this? Let me, I think I'll need to kind of rewrite this to be agnostic of what it's actually doing, but it shouldn't be too difficult. It just needs to know that whatever is inside the data race is more than what it can hold. And maybe I don't need max sprites at all, because this is just keeping track of the size of the buffers, really. It's not really doing anything actually useful. It's data we already have from the size member of the vertex buffer, right? The actual vertex buffer. So yeah, I'm just gonna cut this from here and put it here after draw, and I need to rework it. But first, let me see where it's called. It's called in draw, so I don't think anyone else, yeah. And like the add function is gonna be specific to every child type. So this is cool. This is enough. Yeah, this is good. Maybe this should be like a function, but for now, whatever. It's fine. Okay, so now I have to get rid of this max sprites thing. Right? I need to redo this check. Should be if now I don't need to know what size is in the buffer. I think it might be bytes. I'm pretty sure it's bytes, right? Yeah, it could be bytes. So make buffer. Yeah, it's max elements times size of backing type, so it's bytes. Should be self.vertex data count of oh, in this I also forgot this. Forgot to change this. So here should be count of self.vertex data times size of vertex t, vertex type. if data size is larger than self dot vertex buffer dot size, then resize. Although should be more like new size equals self dot vertex buffer times 2. And here it should be new size, although it's more like new count, right? New element count. So this is gonna be this divided by size of vertex t. And it should be divisible because of the way it's constructed. It's never gonna be like a weird division or anything. It's gonna be, should be exactly right to do this. Let me expand this as well. I usually don't work with the font this big, but it's better for the viewing experience and my eyes probably. Yeah, and this here should be index t. Now here's the thing, the index size is different, the index buffer size, so maybe it should be separate, right? It should update the vertex and index buffer separately, and effectively for the sprite batch they're gonna happen at the same time, but for the other stuff it's completely arbitrary, but it should be optimal even for the sprite batch. So let's just separate it. Just let vbuffer GPU storage. Should really like cache that this time. Just to make it easier to type. Oh, this is already used. Huh. Okay, cool. Now going back here, should be storage buffer t, and it takes the new element count, right? As far as I remember. Yeah, the constructor takes max elements and usage flags. Although the usage flags are optional. New element counts. And then we don't care about index buffer right now. Now here if count of self.index data is larger than self.vertex index buffer dot size, same thing. Right. New index count equals yeah, this one is simpler since we don't have this composite type and it's not in bytes. This is bytes though, so yeah, okay, same thing actually. Divided by size of index t. I believe, is this how it works? Yeah. Well, we'll know soon enough when I try it and everything breaks apart. It's pretty much the same thing here. I mean, instead of vertex buffer, it's index buffer. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now it should be working still. Hardest task so far to resize this. Make bind group not. It should be the other thing, yeah. Oops. Yeah, it's a larger function. And also I should take these out of the type scope as well, just so it doesn't pollute anything. I think this is right, yeah. Da-da-da. I feel like these shouldn't, yeah, these should go in the mesh as well. Now let's see, am I missing anything? Yeah, this could probably be reorganized, but that's fine as well, because like it should work at this point, and I can go back later and clean it up just to make it less verbose and it should be a bit more tidy. Okay, now let's run it. Make bind group not in scope 144. Oh, this should be higher, huh? Isn't this here? What's the issue? I don't get it. Let me see again the error. Make bind group is not declared in scope, even though it should be. 144. Oh, this one is in the... It's here. Huh. I guess... Yeah, let's do this. Instead of being this generic constructor, let's make a real one. CLS, and it takes max vertices, or starting max vertices anyway, max indices, and texture. Yeah. So in the case of the arbitrary geometry batch, this texture is just gonna be the dummy texture. It's like a 1x1 pixel white texture, and we just don't use it at all. But that's a worry for later. Checking chat real quick if there's anything. Yeah, this does not go here anymore. Though I should probably just comment it out. So here, the mesh, instead of this thing here, we use mesh T, and it takes max vertices, max indices, texture. Okay. 4 times max sprites, which we don't care anymore here either, I think. Let me remove it from here as well. So we don't even need this here either. Yeah. So this type just holds like the functions that do different stuff. It doesn't care about the mesh stuff at all. So maybe at this point I can just inherit from mesh itself instead of using all this dot mesh stuff, right? So silly. And now I have to undo all these things. So maybe, do I care? Yeah, let's do it, but let me... You know what? I'll leave it this way because maybe I want to add stuff here later. So for now, let's keep it that way, and I can refactor it later if necessary. Yes, so this we don't care about at all, right? I don't know why I created those in the first place, since they should be created automatically. Max sprites, max indices, should be 6 times. Yeah, 6 times max sprites. And the texture. Okay. Just checking if I don't use this anywhere else. Apparently not. Yeah, all these should stay because it's very specific to creating quads. I'm sorry, saying quads weird today. Today my English is all weird for some reason. Having a hard time thinking today. as always, but more so. Okay, this seems correct. Now this, we move to the constructor here. Now yeah, it should be struct. Let's just struct a type column. So here we take vertex data, vertex buffer, index buffer, group 0 and dirty. Although dirty we don't need to set because default is false as well. Already lost. Okay. Vertex buffer equals v buffer. Index buffer equals z buffer. Yeah, I think, yeah, and the bind group 0 equals b group 0. Now we should be able to. It's just storage buffer t. Max vertices. And this one is index buffer t max indices. And everything should work now, hopefully. Oh, the texture here comes from the. Oh, we should set texture here as well, right? It should keep track of that. I think this is the type. Yeah. Okay, time to try it. Make bind group 127. How? Oh, because yeah, I did this too early. Okay, in the end. Okay. Can't cast value of type nothing. And where's this nothing? 29 comes from texture 145 texture, which we got from here. This is weird. Oh, I'm not. Huh? What's so weird here? It says width in texture.sc. From GPU texture. Oh, is it because... I'm storing a texture. Should it be just a view maybe? Now I'm a bit lost because think I'm using the wrong type here. And I haven't used Git here yet, so I can't like look, which is a big mistake, by the way. I should have put this in a Git repository, and I intended to do this after today, but it would be too much trouble to do it before the stream. But also now I kind of need to know, but maybe if I undo enough, I can see what it was supposed to be. And hopefully I don't do something. GPU texture, yeah. That's correct. So what's it complaining about now? Takes max versus max instance texture. And load image, which comes from helpers, I believe. Those which are not GPU texture. Huh. Oh, I think it's because I'm not setting the texture here. Okay, it's a lot simple problem than I expected. Alright, because it does distort the texture, right? Yeah, okay, it's just a goof. No field name texture. In where? Am I in the wrong? $144. Okay, and I have to take it out of here. Yeah, now there's a bunch of stuff with mesh that I need to take out. Okay, maybe this is all. Oh, okay. Offset plus data size. Okay, and right away it doesn't like no, okay. It trips our assert. Let me try first with a single one and then we see if that works, and if that works I can check what's happening. Yeah, it does work. So now I need to check what is happening. Let me try as well with 1024, which should be the maximum allowed by default. Just so I know, yeah, the problem is when we resize the buffer. So let's try that with 1025, just to make sure it trips the resize. Okay. Is it that, let's see where the resize happens. So we know that this assert is stripping when exactly when we resize the buffers. And let's see which one is it. Vertex or, oh, actually it should be inside the if statement, yeah. Or index. And it's the vertex. Okay, so the very first one. Whatever we do here, it should help us solve the problem with the index buffer as well. Let's see. New element count. I wonder if it's the thing I was thinking about where maybe it's like the difference between byte size and because this should be elements, right? Constructor. It does take max elements, yeah. And then the size is max element size. Okay, we know that. So this should be correct as far as I know. Let's print self.vertex buffer.size and then print new element count and see what that is. Okay. Times. I don't think this will help though, yeah. Huh. This new element count is wrong though because it's and it's during the draw count, right? There is oh, it's in the right, of course. Self.vertex data. It could be that's my assert that's wrong. Offset should be 0 here. Let's print offset, data size, self.size. Huh. The data size is barely bigger than is 12,300 versus 12,288. And the data size here is times count, huh? Which should be count of data. Yeah. Let's see count as well, just for the sake of it. At least I think this debugging session is a lot more well guided than the last one. Okay, count of of 6,150. And what's that in 6,150? 6,150 divided by 4. That's not the number of vertices we requested, right? That should be, I believe, should be 1,025. 1,025 times 4, that should be this one. Now, why is it that let me remove this print just to remove pollution because it's remove noise. Count of self.vertex data. Yeah, that's correct. Okay, so it's very likely that my assert is wrong, right? There's no way. Times count. Oh no, it's not. It's huh. I'm confused. Is vertex t the wrong thing? Maybe. No way, right? Let me make this bigger. Storage buffer vertex t, array vertex t. Yeah, so far checks out. At this point, it's almost like I should be using bytes here instead of count, element count, but okay. Maybe I should do that eventually, because you might want to have mixed buffers, but no, it's not how I'm doing things right now. Though you can like make a buffer that has byte storage, and then you can do whatever you want. So that's probably what you would do. For now, we're using homogeneous buffers. At this point, I think I'm gonna fix this, hopefully, and end the stream. I don't think there's a lot more to, like, I don't wanna spend a lot more time today. Maybe this week I'll be able to, not sure really, but I might be able to do some work off screen and have something more interesting next time. Okay, so let's find our assumptions here. First off, it seems that this assert is weird because, let me print this thing again, just one more time. Offset, count, data size, and here I have this as well. Let me use report to have the exact line as well. There it happens. Okay, so yeah, okay, so it has a count of 4,100, and the buffer should be able to hold 8,192. And then it tries to write, oh, it's the index that it's trying to write, right? And it's having trouble, because it could write the vertex buffer just fine. So that's weird. All this time I thought it was the, I think this whole time I was debugging the wrong buffer, so that's good to know, yeah. It trips the assert in the second, right? Okay. I thought we didn't resize the buffer yet. Okay. So that changes everything. That's good to know that. I think this time I'm having a better time of figuring out where the problem actually is, because last time I completely ignored the obvious cause of the error, and this time I was a little bit faster. Okay, so this should stay here, and this goes here. Print. Let's get to know if it resized. Print. count of self dot index data and self dot index buffer dot size. It doesn't seem like it resized at all, so that's important to know. Oh, okay, here's the bug. All right, that's good to know. The problem is exactly that it didn't resize because we're counting the number of indices and comparing it to the size in bytes, except indices have 2 bytes, right? So it's like half of what it should be. Okay, so if I fix this, times size of index t, it should resize and it should work just fine. And I'm removing all the prints and stuff, even though I don't know if it will work. Yeah, okay, it works, so that's cool. So with this done, I should also remove the print wherever it is. It's a print or a report. Huh, where does that come from? Oh no, I have a lost print. Is it a report? What the hell? What's this printing from where? Why is it printing? That's weird. It's printing some sizes. I don't remember where I put this print. Is it here? Okay. Where could... Oh, I didn't save, I guess. That's funny. Okay. Chasing a ghost. I usually save pretty compulsively, so it's funny that I didn't save this time. I guess it's my keystrokes might be too fast for my laggy Emacs right now. So to recap, what I did right now was to abstract away much of the logic for the sprite patch into a mesh type, and it does the whole all the resizing and uploading buffers and stuff like that and keeping track of stuff. And the next thing I want to do is write some other types of primitives like lines, circles, what else, polygons, this kind of stuff that's very useful for debugging, but also for gameplay stuff as well. For example, if you're doing a fishing minigame and you want your fishing line to go from the fishing rod to the bobbing stuff, to the bobbing thing, the bait, you're gonna need a line renderer, that kind of thing. And the way it will work is that you interspeed I don't remember the word. So you would have a layer of sprites and a layer of primitives and another layer of sprites, and that's how you will control rendering with this. It's pretty a little bit manual. I'm not doing like automatic batching as some other stuff do, like Love2D, which is not called Love2D, by the way, before someone sees this and calls me on it. So yeah, it's a little bit more manual, but I think I like it this way because it's probably more useful for very specific setups, which is what I'm doing here. So this thing, I want to turn it into a game. Eventually I'll get to like tiles and stuff like that, and we try to make something interesting. But I wanted to get this low level stuff out of the way first, because it's a lot of stuff that if you don't have right away, a lot of things it's way more difficult than it should be. So I'm pretty happy that I have this working, and it seems to work pretty well after a pretty nightmarish coding session, but now everything works, so I'm happy about that. So I think that's all for today. I'm a bit tired today, but hopefully I'm gonna get something done between today and Tuesday, and then on Tuesday we can get to something pretty interesting. So that's all. Thanks for anyone that watches this, or maybe you in the future or something. Goodbye.